Hello everybody, I'm here for the Hero Game Channel. Welcome back to the New Order, the last days of Europe, and to my HMMLR's England playthrough, where today, hopefully we are going to, we're going to cause some havoc here for the Collaborationists, and we're going to end up defeating them, and yeah, moving on to brighter and better things. So let's go ahead and get you guys on there. Divisions are already moving here. Hopefully. Yeah, they've messed up there. They're not in there yet. Now. Yeah, hold on, hold on. Yes, 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 yes. Alright, just you chill in there. Whoever's not in position, do so now. Yes, two more divisions coming to reinforce there. We have got a decent portion of the army stuck, and they do not have a port. So that is grand. Well, they've moved divisions in there. Oh, that's fine. We've got the majority. Don't know what that was. Don't know what that was, but I've got rid of it. These guys are screwed in here. This is good. So we've got two in there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 in here. Not gonna have much of an army left once we're done with them. Let's just finish off that lot because there's a lot of our divisions just chilling on there. So, end of the Reichskommissariat Norwegian. This is the weak bit here, straight through to London, hopefully. Trying to push into Bristol. Oh, let's just help reinforce them. Those lads are going to go and help deal with these. Sad times for them. No, the front. They've broken the front over here. That's not good. United Royal Party at long last. Come on, can we just finish these guys off? Yeah, get into them. Get right into them. So we've lost 12,000, we've killed 52,000. That's what you get for betraying the nation. Well, I think we know which route we need to go. Straight through Oxford and straight through here. And that way we can cut off some more divisions. Iron Lady stands triumphant. I don't know why we're getting all these events. It's something to do with Margaret Thatcher there. We have very little care for her because the Collaborationists are not going to be staying in power, so there's going to be no need for her. Oh, yep, that'll do it for them. this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. If we can break through there. Can push into Brighton hopefully soon. Oh, we should be able to very soon. Plus we're pushing quite nicely down here. Might be able to push into their last port and cut off another 2 divisions. Oh, we've even managed to cut off Dover. Look at them retreating. Oh well, we have managed to cut off London. It'll just be a matter of getting all these boys just to push. Come on, everyone in this. Everyone on to London. Go on. We can do this. 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. And eradicate it. And let's secure Portsmouth. I don't think there's going to be much left for them here. Let's just get aggressive on them. Is that us? No. We should be very close. We've won. We've won. Peace conference is over. HMMLR's England has won. We are victorious. Ah, it's a beautiful day for us. Although it appears that we have kind of bugged out a little bit, so just a quick wee sec. Ah, there we go, that's better. I just reloaded the a save just so we can actually, you know, use our generals and field marshals. I'm not playing without them. Right, so we should now have a tree. Oh, we'll get a tree in a second. Alright, we've got the growing under food insecurity. Okay. HMMLR is victorious. The forces of Her Majesty's most loyal resistance have secured the control over England. Though some holdouts remain, the majority of the old government's units have disbanded or surrendered. Peace and freedom has returned to the land, but the price has been high. Thousands of English soldiers and civilians are dead, and the former workshop of the world has been reduced to a rubble. A barbaric victory. Matilda always wanted to live in an apartment. It was a strange obsession, considering she raised in a lovely big house with her parents there to guide her along. But she always felt strangely trapped. It was so ornate, so perfect, so clean. She supposed the life of an aristocrat never suited her. She always was an attractive girl, first in the class of field hockey. If she stayed at home, she would probably end up getting married off. The room was quite bare, really. They had put a rug down to try and lighten up the place, and of course, there was a chair that Paul lent them. But really, mostly nothing. She heard a call from the room. Matty, darling, do you think we'll be fine without the curtains? Olivia limped in, her crutches supporting her weight as she entered. I think we'll do fine, Matilda smiled. The day passed. After a lengthy argument about who would get to sit on the chair, Matilda managed to get Olivia to sit down, as Matilda sat down on the floor. They didn't exactly have anything else to do. The post-war scene in England was entirely covered in people hiring, so they talked and talked and talked and talked. The cloudy sky grew dark, and they started to talk about war. Matilda suddenly remembered the church, the terror. I killed someone. I enjoyed it, Olivia. It excited me. I guess in the moment I was scared, but well, he had a family, and I killed him. Saw the light drain out of his eyes, and Matilda's voice grew hoarse. She started to quietly sob. Olivia looked down at her, crying. Oh, and for once, she didn't know what to say. Okay, anyways, what's the tree looking like? A forgotten word. England. The Oxford trials. Oh gosh. There's going to be a lot of people. Oh yes, the head of the snake. The traitor. Well, he is definitely going to be getting killed, isn't he? The English Phoenix. Right, anyways. A forgotten word, England. Freedom, a word from the former traitor government would have rather preferred to be unmentioned for the rest of time. Freedom is not simply a word, however, it is a state of mind, one that pushes the greatest of men into actions considered impossible. Monarchs and communists, soldiers and labourers and churchmen all worked together, not because of force or fear. They fought as one because they would rather die free than live oppressed under the traitor's boot. HMMLR is victorious, and England is now free of the rule of those who betrayed it to the fascists decades ago. We have won. And from Dover to Carlisle, it is the banner of a free England which flies. We did this not for personal glory, but so that the children born in this land will never again have to witness the jackboot of the Reich. Fantastic. How many factories have we got? 15. Great. Let's go ahead and sort out our production. We will not bother making any tanks right now, I don't think. We will sorely focus on everything else. Oh yes, early anti-air twice done. You absolute idiot. And fighters, close air support, and a strategic bombers. Alright, so guns, artillery, infantry equipment, anti-air, improved anti-tank, good. So we'll go with I think that'll suffice for the time being. And dockyards, we will go with submarines, and we'll get some destroyers as well. That's one thing we've not really got. The Royal Navy is a shadow of its former self. High Command. Loyalty is somewhat disloyal, and our High Command is very inefficient. Our military efficiency, truly loyalty will mildly increase. Yeah, that's purging competent officers. There we go. I'll just do all them. Somewhat loyal. Do you know what? I probably should have read all them there because we're still very inefficient command. Over the rainbow, the building was just as she remembered. Sullen brick and shade of dark brown, mossy footpaths cracked and broken. The cloudy sky may have seemed dreary to many, but to Matilda, it was as if the world was bright as a day in Seville. It was just as it was before the last... Oh, they left school... Wait, left school years ago with Olivia by her side, walking into an unknown dark organisation to try and find some semblance of hope for the future. Of course, they had come so far, such an amazing distance, and here they were, back where they started. Hey Matty, Olivia shouted. The cane was new to Olivia, her leg having recovered to the point she didn't need the wheelchair anymore. She stumbled over to Matilda, smiling comfortably. God, it really hasn't changed at all, has it? Matilda grinned and snorted. I suppose not. Why did you want to come back? Well, it's where we met, isn't it? Olivia replied. The girls wondered nothing. The little things they remembered. Olivia's chalk scratching. They got people gossiping about whether Maggie Thomas was snogging a layabout named Otto from a nearby boys' camp. The classrooms where Matilda would stare out the window, think of 10 minutes they should have with Olivia at the end of the day. Lastly, of course, the bike sheds. The same bike sheds she would swear she lived in. God, we used to sit down here all the time, Olivia said as she looked up and down the back of the sheds covered in dried mud and overgrown moss. Yeah, it was never really very tidy, Matilda said. Sitting down, Olivia sat down alongside her. Matty, I remember a couple of years ago I was sitting here and crying because my dad said something about people like us. Well, you said you would always stay by my side, and that's really stuck with me because you have, and I love you, and I want to stay by your side too. And well, Olivia took a small block out of her jacket. Matilda asked, will you marry me? Oh, that's nice. Matilda was in shock. Olivia, what do you mean? We can't. It's not legal. It won't be legal, but we can hide it. I know we can hide it. Then yes. Teared up. So Olivia grabbed her and Chris, the two women hand in hand left the school together into a bright future. Oh, that's nice. Oh, who doesn't love love? Cornerstone of democracy. Universal voting, that's cool. Stability, food and security. Go to volunteer only. Normalcy. Regulated public meetings, state press only. Guiding hands. Okay, we've got a lot of rebuilding. Alright, let's do the cornerstone of democracy. For years, England was the main force behind freedom and democracy throughout the globe. The entire might of our nation ensured that the world would always stand against despots and would be world conquerors. But today our system is broken and England is controlled by an emergency military dictatorship. Must restore democracy as soon as possible to make good on our promises to the population and show we really are going to create a free and democratic England. Fantastic. First reaction was one of shock. Was this really it? Did that announcement really happen? At the front, there was a bit of hesitation. Nobody wanted to stand up before the men on the other side did. Slowly, the trickle of collaborators began. They came as individuals, first walking over with hands up, then came groups marching under white flags. Then it became a flood as the entire army disarmed and marched over to give up. Many were tired, some were sad, others were happy it was over. The rebels were tired as well. There were growing euphoria among them. Civilians were next to Crowell. Most of them were hiding in their basements, hoping that white bed sheets and the construction of their homes would keep them safe. After the shelling stopped, they knew something was up. Then came HMMLR cars, proclaiming the announcement from their speakers. The civilians then came out, looking at the destruction of the victorious army marching forward, while the vanquished were being herded towards the rear. Far beyond the front lines, the HMMLR territory, the mood was a lot less subdued. Massive celebrations broke out all over free England. Everywhere ran dry of alcohol, consumed by the revellers. They crowded around HMMLR's headquarters, calling for Alexander, for Auchinleck, for Stirling. When one showed up, they cheered euphorically. And who could blame them? The suffering and bloodshed was over. Families could not be bombed out. The young men of England could grow up. No longer would England be asked to bear the terrible sacrifices it had endured. And England would know freedom. The last of our enemies is laid low. Ah, glorious. Public service announcements. Radio is in household living room with all the demands and shortage of coals up to the householder to economise. Went to husband college, but okay, yeah, do you know what? I'm not reading that. That is, I'm not too bothered about that. And it looks like Bormann's Germany is going to win once again. Solemn duty. Alfred Fisher has always been proud of the fact that he took up the discarnate faster than the priesthood in the Church of England. It was a sinful feeling, true, but Deacon Fisher never told anyone, a god, of his peculiar flaw of his, perhaps because it made what he did now all the harder. St. Joseph's Hospice has been a winery before the war burnt its vineyards in the ashes. Alfred liked to think his patients enjoyed the view of recovering plant life more than they would the dull concrete of a hospice in the city. It would have been easier if the hospice had been for the old, but many of the men Alfred had to help to do even the simplest of things were startlingly young. Some of them had no doubt sided with the government, others the HMMLR, some might have been communists, fascists, royalists and republicans, or a dozen things more. It mattered not to Alfred. What difference did it make if the men he gave the sacraments to were from the side who lost? He had to help the amputees into their wheelchairs each day all the same. He would read books to the blind and comfort those mentally affected as best he could. He did the best he best. Thank God for forgiveness for all that he simply lacked the time to do. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely gonna win. Well, because Goring's bottled it by the looks of things. Alright, so once we've restored trust, all that happens, that's fine. Guiding hand, multi-party system, okay. Every revolution has its heroes, one who risked their lives and freedom to create a better world. Now the revolution's over, and what role should those heroes take now? Bill Alexander, Claude Auchinleck and David Stirling have all certainly done their parts in battle, but the next phase is approaching, and they certainly don't wish to stick around too long and overstay their welcome. They will meet to decide how best to use their status in order to aid the revolution. Can't wait to get down to the Oxford trials. 7 days to complete those. Oh, basically everything turns to 7 days. Nice. We'll get through the rest of this tree before the end of the episode. Hopefully. Gosh, look at our pie. Non-core manpower plus 2%. Nice. What? No. What are we missing? Motorized equipment. Oh, that's fine. Alright, let's have a wee look and see. Signal companies have not been researched. Let's do that. Just thinking. Scotland. Allied the South. Okay. In a London coach ride. Well, we'll see what happens, because I do want to make the UK, if at all possible, undoing their evils. England is wounded. None can deny that our land is shattered, remnant of what it once was. Civil war caused much destruction, is true. Tens of thousands of needless deaths, entire towns left broken by shells and gunfire. Yet the Collaborationists government did a great deal of damage in their rule as well. Damage far harder to heal. Our academics were hunted or forced to toe the government line. The unions of workers beaten into submission or forced on the ground altogether. Today, nothing of the political prosecution of opposition parties. Now falls to HMMLR to repair this damage, to undo what went wrong, and give the people a glimmer of hope that the future we promised will be worth the wait. Be we soldiers of Sterling and Alexander Auchinleck, we owe our countrymen that at least. Political reform. Keeping hater content. Ignore Scottish complaints. Antagonise the English. Look at reforms. I just need to go back and look at the national spirit they've got. What? The dragon transpires. What the hell is that national spirit logo? Or icon, rather. Alright, clear and unexploded ordnance. Wars are not accurate affairs. As often as not, a shell or bomb will miss its target entirely, and with significant fighting in urban and rural areas of England alike, we now face the unfortunate problem of numerous explosive devices, including actual landmines, which for one reason or another failed to detonate as they were intended to. Using an all-volunteer force, Claude and Bill Alexander have catalogued the areas with the highest number of exploding munitions and sent demining crews in to slowly solve the problem. This might well take years to effect fully. It is entirely possible that England will never be 100% free of explosive refuse. It will be an improvement for our people. Nice, we're going to... Food insecurity is going to get modified, and we get the event the disposal team, which is no doubt going to tell us about the little mining group that's dealing with that. Military loyalty will mildly increase. There we go. Somewhat loyal and somewhat inefficient. I didn't read them properly before. I basically just didn't really improve anything earlier when I done that. Right. Bruce Fraser. I think I'm going to go with Fred Copeman. Not got a bad sized navy, to be fair. It's not completely terrible. Began demobilization. Right. The struggle of liberation was one undertaken by a good many tens of thousands of loyal Englishmen. From villages and factories, dockyards and farms, they came. Men and boys and even women who all knew that the evils of fascism and totalitarianism had to be purged from a nation whatever the cost. Top ranks have spoken and it's been agreed that now that the struggle is over, it is time for the most of our men to return home. Let them trade guns for hammers and rakes and ploughshares. Let them return to normalcy. A professional corps HMMLR fighters will stay on, of course, but they will exist to form the backbone of the future English army, not to oppress the people they were supposed to protect like the traitor forces had done. That's fine. We lose some more support, but that's okay. The car pulls up to the farm in Islip, a village in Kidlington. 6 men hop out, 1 officer, sergeant, 4 soldiers. There was a site of heavy fighting in civil war, and the farmer is unable to plough his fields due to the amount of unexploded ordnance. It's a valid concern, especially at the sites which are prone to digging. Just last week, a man was killed by an S-mine on the side of Ipswich while digging a drainage ditch. Okay. Nice, some stability. They're dealing with the mines. We knew that was going to be the case there. That event. So, I guess now we will also go ahead and probably improve our divisions because they are not the greatest right now. Get them exercising. Actually, production. Yeah, can you actually go into the English fleet, please, that I'm creating? Whoa. I'm sorry. Did I see that was called the Kingdom of England Task Force? The England Task Force, thank you. Well, we're still the English Transitional Government, but for obvious reasons. Goring's holding on. Spear's actually doing okay. Goring's actually holding on. Has Bormann just exhausted himself? It wouldn't be surprising now if that was actually the case. Right, demobilization. Life begins anew. HMMLR is a volunteer force, and we had no need to conscript when the vast majority of our fighters were militiamen or defected soldiers. Alas, but being a volunteer does not insulate our soldiers from the effects of combat. Shell shock is rampant amongst those units which spent a great deal of time on those front lines, especially militia formations which bore the brunt of much of the fighting. Many who fought for our cause lost limbs, senses, and even family members when brother fought brother amidst the chaos. We owe them more than mere words can convey. We should do our best to ensure nobody who sacrificed something dear to the persons for free England will be forgotten, and those who sacrificed everything shall be remembered forever. So we get event normal saying food insecurity is improved again, and the growing hunger goes bye-bye. Good. What's the growing hunger even doing for us right now? Tanks. The leopard. The leopard? We're just gonna get a German tank. Okay, we'll take a German tank. Heydrich's been pretty much dealt with. Spear's just broken. He's just broke himself. What an absolute mess that is. Oh well, who cares, because we're doing this. Oh look, we're gonna get possibly an event here in diplomatic relations, Scottish and English. I really do want to unify. Scotland, please, just come peacefully. Right, the young democracy law. Nothing is more threatening to a fledgling state than its first steps, be it ambitious military officers or politicians seeking to make new opportunities for personal gain. It is always at the beginning that a state is most vulnerable to falling from its path. Auchinleck and Alexander are well aware of this, and more importantly, both are well aware of the possible consequences of any part of HMMLR trying to subvert the democratic process. Thus, the young democracy law has been proposed, which will give authority to select council of the HMMLR veterans to, during the formative years of the resurrected democracy, suspend that democracy for the good of the English people if need be. Only with mutual agreement of both Auchinleck and Alexander can this law be elected, only against a threat using the guise of democracy to end or pervert it, or the collapse of democratic institutions leaving England will good governments. Okay, that's fine. Normal saying. Two states are coming to heavy punishment in the war. Artillery had hit. Country people put the worst of the Civil War behind them, as well as employing bits of the aftermath. Well, the darkest chapter in English history has left deep scars, but no longer cuts. Now England can move forwards toward a better tomorrow under freedom. Okay, good. Good. Goring has defeated Spear. So he's got two fronts. Not an ideal situation to be in, but a situation he does find himself in. Heydrich's Germany is holding on slightly as well. Right, so once this done, I've got that 14 days and it's 7 days all the way down. Here, Brotherhood's bet them. Okay, good. Start reconstruction. Which the civilian leadership rendered unable to assist us due to their siding with the Collaborationists government and what civilian apparatus we do possess, mostly being limited to the more local positions. It's been said that the reconstruction of England will take place under military authority. Series of reconstruction commands, each covering a distinct region of England, shall govern the rebuilding process, setting the priorities to be given for specific issues and act as a temporary judicial and governing branch for the provisional government. Needless to say, these will be influential positions, and whoever holds them may affect the popularity of the nascent political parties in the upcoming elections. Okay. Better as anyone. Okay, I'm not going to read that. It's just to do with that little law. I just want to get to the Oxford trials. Major Sterling protests the... Oh, of course he does. Sign paper on this. Just what the fuck is this? David, I know you're upset, but the young democratic lead is necessary to ensure the security of the government. Okay, Sterling does not like that at all. Oh well.